Welcome to Midwest Manufactured Live, where we tell the stories of great manufacturers, what they're doing to grow, to innovate, and see new opportunities in their marketplace. Today we're here with Terry McCormick, Business Development Vice President at RJ Link International. But first, we do want you to stick around to the end of the broadcast where we're going to reveal the Poopsies Corporate Appreciation Gift Box. Terry, we were talking about this before the broadcast, and Terry doesn't know what's in his surprise gift box. So we
I'm just hoping it's appropriate and I can take it home to the wife.
Well, I don't know your wife, but I feel like she's easygoing.
Yeah, pretty easy. Yeah.
Well,
She
Terry,
puts up with me.
Terry, thanks for being on the broadcast today. Now, RJ Link International, what is it that you guys do?
So RJ Link International is an industrial gearbox manufacturer. So to give a little bit of an explanation on that is an industrial gearbox is usually driven by a diesel engine or a large electric motor. And diesel engines and these electric motors have a sweet spot to run at for efficiency.
Okay.
So as an example, diesel engine wants to run at 1,800 RPMs for the most effective horsepower and fuel efficiency. But the device they're running may not need to run at 1,800 RPMs.
Okay.
They may want to run at 900 RPMs. So a gearbox will either increase or decrease the speed. And you use that through gear reduction ratios, and this is an example of a gear.
Okay.
And so that's what we provide. We provide that custom design industrial gearbox to transmit torsional power.
Okay. So what kind of size are we looking at? I mean, this is a pretty big gear, and I'm thinking of my car,
Right.
and full disclosure, I know nothing about cars. But I'm guessing that this is a bigger gear than what's in a car.
They'll be very similar, maybe
Okay.
a little bigger, but this is actually one of our smaller gears.
Really?
Yeah, our industrial gearboxes, we have some that weigh up to over 1,000 pounds.
And what?
And on average,
put that in
200-300.
perspective. How big is that?
As big as this
proportionally?
table.
Okay. Driving what kind of machines?
So they'll drive like large industrial water pumps. In the oil and gas industry, it'll be a blender for fracking industry,
Okay.
as an example. Big industrial snow blowers that mount on the front end of a Mack truck. So these are very, very large pieces of equipment.
Yeah.
Some on highway, some off highway.
Gotcha. And how long have you been in this industry?
I've been in gearing for 30 years.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so whether it's been in hydraulic pumps or in industrial gearboxes, that's been my career in manufacturing, engineering, and quality for the last 30 years.
And how long have you been with RJ Link?
I joined the RJ Link team in November of this year.
Okay.
The company president, CEO is Mike Moss, and he and I have worked together for a number of years at other companies. He had a great opportunity to join the team, and I decided to take it.
Yeah. So as of this broadcast, we're here at the end of February. So that was November. So you haven't been there all that long.
No, about 3 months.
Okay. And you're vice president of business development. So talk to me about business development in the industry that you're in.
So RJ Link manufactures custom gearboxes.
Okay.
So our customer base is they'll want a singular gear or a singular gearbox that's for a unique application.
Okay.
Maybe they build 10 of these a year or one of these a year. You're building a custom gearbox for a custom machine? Yes, in many cases.
All right.
So the market that we are in is we're selling to the customer that wants one, and it has to be unique to what they're doing. So we're not a commodity gearbox. We're not somebody that you call up and say, do you have this model on the shelf? Pull it and ship it to me. I was like, no, we work with the engineers at the manufacturers saying, okay, what do you want to do? How do you want it to fit? And what are you looking for from the application? And so we custom design to fit their application.
Gotcha. And after 30 years of experience, you know what you're doing in the manufacturing side of things, and now you're taking that into the business development world.
Correct, because a lot of it is the relationship with the engineer and the customer. Mm-hmm. A lot of our customers in the OEMs, they have lost some of that, what we'll call power transmission knowledge.
Okay.
In the old days, companies were very vertically integrated. They had the engineer on site that knew what is needed for the gearbox. Mm-hmm. Well, now that has been pushed to the supply base. So they'll contact a company like RJ Link to come in and say, hey, I need you to help me to engineer this. I know I need to go from here to here, but I'm not the transmission guy. And so they'll call RJ Link to do that.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, then what you're saying is that in your particular industry, people have become, or organizations have become more specialized
Correct.
instead of holding all that knowledge kind of internally.
Yeah, they've learned, a lot of our customers, they know their main system, but they don't know the small subset of the system, which would be the gearbox.
Gotcha.
So they know how to integrate an entire snowblower, but the individual gearing needed to drive the snowblower, they'll defer to a gearbox manufacturer.
And at what point in time does your customer then get you involved so that you can help them with that engineering?
Sometimes at the very beginning of their project. So if they're launching a whole new development, new machine, they'll contact us because we'll do a lot through business media platforms like LinkedIn,
Okay.
through Facebook and the other social media content out there. YouTube is another one, or directly through our website. And since we advertise as a custom manufacturer, they'll
Right.
contact us and they'll say, hey, I can't find this from anybody else. Can you design and build me this gearbox to fit? And that's usually when they get RJ Link involved.
Gotcha. Do you also work on the other end of things then when there's an end user, they've got a piece of equipment, they need to replace a part.
Correct.
And it was custom, they don't know who made it, maybe that
Correct.
company's out of business. How do you do that?
It's called reverse engineering.
Okay.
So they may send us the old box that's broken, and they'll give us the basic connection points that I have an engine here, and they got a shaft over here that they got to connect to.
Yeah.
And we'll build the drivetrain
Okay.
through the gearing setup to get them to transmit the power to the location they need.
And it sounds like you're also going to do that within the physical constraints of where that gearbox needs to be kept.
Correct.
Gotcha. What is the most fascinating for you individually? What's the most fascinating part of this business for you?
Oh, it's got to be interfacing with the customers and their applications. So I got a phone call just 2 weeks ago from a user, the end user of the vehicle, and they had a big snowblower, and it was in Antarctica.
Oh, really?
I had another phone call from a customer that, again, it was a snowblower application in northern Alaska. And they had a RJ Link gearbox that they purchased in 1995
Oh, wow.
on the snowblower that they had. And they broke it.
Okay.
And so they wanted to know what it cost to replace it
Yeah.
and what they could do to repair it to keep them going.
Yeah.
And so we worked with them on that. And then we get a lot of contacts from engineering firms that are working on new projects, new pieces of equipment, and they want to consult with us to develop a new interface. So as an example, we'll build custom gearboxes for test stands, and they want to cycle something at really high horsepower and really high speed. And we'll build one of those gearboxes, because they just don't build that many test stands.
Sure. Yeah. So let's talk about business development. You're vice president of business development. It's seemingly, and comparative to probably our viewers, you know a lot about gears, a lot about transmissions and gearboxes. So talk to me about business development in this space. What has changed in business development?
So with RJ Link and so many companies throughout the world, it has been the creation of social media. The B2B, the business to business interface has changed from the direct line of sight call where I go in and visit directly with the customer. You're now 99% of that is all done digitally. It's email, it's a web conference, it's a video phone conference. And we still have a lot of the face-to-face contact, but a lot of it is done through email and through a digital presence.
Yeah.
So they find us through the web, they search YouTube, they'll search Google, and so that's changed the development of your market. And since we're custom, we try to target those customers that are looking for that kind of a service. So we use a lot of LinkedIn. We create a presence out there, we post, and then a lot of the people that are following our company, we contact directly and develop that relationship to build the rapport with them, because they're really looking for a solution provider. If they could buy a commodity, they would call up Walmart and they would get it delivered.
Yeah, so they're looking for a solution provider. It seems to me it's kind of like a needle in a haystack for you in a certain way, because you're not that commodity provider. You are custom gearboxes, and so your presence on LinkedIn, do you find that people are seeking you out for a custom gearbox manufacturer, and then they're coming through your LinkedIn profile?
Very much so. They'll type in keywords like gearbox.
Yeah.
or they'll type in something unique about their application. And LinkedIn and Google will give them RJ Link as the contact to go to. And then they'll contact us, and they may ask us, hey, we need something that's going to run at 50,000 RPM. Well, that would be outside of some of our capabilities. But we would work with them to say, okay, maybe you should try a different company that may have a product that's within the operating application you're looking for. But typically, it's those types of searches that find RJ Link. And then we have an established customer base that we already work with. They're developing new products, all the time.
Right.
And so they'll say, okay, we want to take your existing gearbox and put it in this application. Well, the application parameters will change, meaning they're going to drive it at a higher speed and they want more horsepower. So we'll design or review the design. It's like, can we meet those new conditions?
Yeah.
So the interface change in the last 30 years really has been the digital media of business to business.
Gotcha. So we've got a handful of changes here that I'm hearing from you. One is that for manufacturers, they tend to look towards more specialized
Correct.
organizations to solve their engineering needs or their manufacturing needs. And then we've seen this change into less kind of face-to-face networking group type thing to I'm going to seek out this specialized manufacturer on LinkedIn, and now all of our communication is digital.
Yeah, because travel is a cost.
Yep.
It's an expense that companies want to control and manage. RJ Link is no different.
Yep.
And so if they can do it digitally, it saves them a ton of time and interface. And many times that interface is real time, because you can use a variety of video conferencing systems for direct connection to your customer.
So when you've got a customer in Alaska and you've got a customer in Antarctica, and you're sitting here albeit we are as cold, it seems, as Antarctica.
As Antarctica.
But you're in the Midwest. Now, how do you interface and keep errors down when we're engineering important, massive products that have certain specifications that can't be shifted? How do you manage that and make sure that you're making something that's actually going to work if you ship it to Antarctica?
So we ask a lot of questions.
Okay.
And it's really understanding the engineering behind what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and that's more than the math data that
Correct.
somebody might send you. Because we've talked to people before where they're actually what actually made it into production never made it back into math.
Right.
And so you get specifications that aren't even real
There's
anymore.
that special occurrence in the application that nobody sat down and said, oh, it's got to be able to handle this.
Right.
And you'll hear the term in a gearbox called a shock load.
Yeah.
Meaning all of a sudden it hit and it dead stopped the gearbox.
Right. It's not designed for that kind of force.
Right. And material properties, you can shear teeth right off of them.
Yeah.
Off the gear. So a lot of it is asking the question of the end user or the OEM or whoever has the gearbox of what is it doing? How is it running? How does it sound? How is it performing? What are you looking for it to do?
Is that process more or less stressful or the same as it used to be when you were doing maybe that business kind of more face-to-face? Now you've got this idea of Antarctica. Hey, we're shipping things back and forth. We don't necessarily see each other. Maybe we video conference, but
it is more challenging in the digital presence, I would say, because when you had more of a face-to-face, you're with the customer, maybe even in the field, working on the unit.
Right, you could go look at it, touch it, measure it.
And in some cases, you still have to do that. But it's amazing how much you can get done with FaceTime.
Yeah.
So in my past life, we had several opportunities where a gearbox was at a very remote location and the service tech was there, had his phone out, FaceTimed it, and we could tell exactly what was happening. And you can solve it that way.
Gotcha. Now, you guys, I know a little bit about you, and I know that you tend to be a pretty progressive organization. For a product that hasn't changed dramatically over time, gearboxes have, the technology's changed a little bit, but you guys are progressive in your methods of communication and business development too. So it's interesting. Do you find that the organizations that you work with, are they up to speed with that, or are you kind of leading them?
A large majority of our customers certainly are. But there are some segments that are, I'll say, behind the times in many cases, where even in today's world, they still use a fax machine.
Yeah.
But
Right.
they found that to be their comfort zone, and
Sure.
but you're still working with that customer on what's happening with their product and what's happening with their application. So it does force you to relook at how you interface with your customer.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously, Google is the largest search engine in the world.
Yeah.
YouTube is number 2.
Yeah.
So that means
So it's amazing to me that you, as a business development professional in manufacturing, would know that. Mm-hmm. Most people don't.
it's the changing times.
Yeah.
And if you aren't learning that, you need to learn it quick.
Yeah.
And so the one exciting thing in my career over the years, I will say that every position I've ever held or interface I've had with customers, there's always an opportunity to learn something new. And that keeps it exciting and fresh.
What do you on the idea of customers, what do you do to take care of your customers?
So it's obviously solve the problem they're faced with.
Okay.
Quality and delivery are given. They just expect that. And then working with them on how to develop a real partnership. Again, some customers just want to call up, order, and that's the end of the relationship.
Sure. Yeah.
But most customers want to know that when they call, they're talking to Terry, or they're talking to a person, and the person at the plant cares about their product.
Yeah. That relationship component.
Correct.
Which is a little more difficult in the digital age.
Yes.
So what do you do to overcome that?
So it's working on personal skills and how you interface with the phone calls, the follow-up, even asking a personal question about, how's your grandchild doing today?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Sure.
And I'll be honest, by nature, I'm an introvert.
Okay.
And it may not sound like it with this interview process
So am I.
going. Yes. But I've learned over the years, even in a technical engineering world, you have to develop certain other interface skills
Okay.
on how you talk to the customer and how you interface with them. So when I talk to the buyer at an organization, it's a different interface because the buyer wants the cheapest product they can get. When I talk to the engineer wants to get all the bells and whistles as much as possible because he knows he's really looking for that quality of product and service.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you're the median between the two of them.
Yeah.
And saying, the buyer says, well, no, I want it cheaper, give me a cost reduction. And I'm like, no, it's going to cost you more because we're going to provide more value in the product. And here's why your engineer is going to see that as important.
That's awesome. Well, Terry, it has been a pleasure speaking with you here on Midwest Manufactured Live. I did tell you and our listeners at the beginning that we would unveil the Poopsies
Yes,
Corporate
I heard that
Appreciation
too.
gift box, which might be, I don't know, we have not opened this one, so we don't know what we're getting here. This might be an opportunity to take care of a customer. All right, so Poopsies in Galena, Illinois is fantastic. Have you been to Poopsies?
I've been to Galena,
Okay.
I know of them, but
All
I've
right.
never been to their store.
Yeah, so Poopsies in Galena, Illinois is a fantastic place. Really fun. It's a great destination place, but they also have a cool e-commerce website. The neat thing that I like about Poopsies is it's, for me at least, it's difficult to show care and appreciation because you want to get something that's a little unique, a little off the wall, right? Poopsies makes it easy with, I coined the term hands-off shopping. You could just call them up and say, here's the type of person I want to talk to or give something to, and they'll just make it happen. So we've got the Poopsies Corporate Appreciation gift box. I don't know what you're going to receive. Do you want to open this? You want to take the...
Sure, I'll give it a whirl.
This is our
First,
appreciation.
we're going to look at it first.
It's our appreciation
sure
for being
it's
on Midwest
appropriate.
Manufactured Live. What the heck?
So, okay.
What we got
Fidget cubes. Yeah, so cute.
there you go, fidget cubes.
Always a good tool for engineers.
Yeah, right.
And
Infinite
then the,
fidget cube. It just keeps
Colorful
going.
crawly.
The colorful crawly.
Interesting. Not certain what my grandson may like that a great deal. And a lot of crepe paper, so I think
That's
we're good.
awesome.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Well, congratulations on your new toys here from Poopsies and the Corporate Appreciation gift box.
Yes.
You have that's our gift to you from
Yeah,
Poopsies.
appreciate it.
Also our undying love and affection. And I think you were talking about enjoying Irish whiskey. So
Yes.
I think I'll have to have you over for Irish whiskey sometime.
I would appreciate that.
be
It
fun.
would be a pleasure.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Terry, thanks for joining us here on Midwest Manufactured Live. Now, lastly, how can people get a hold of RJ Link International?
So certainly through our website, rjlink.com. You can follow us on LinkedIn. We also have a Facebook presence. And so those are the primary ways. And then also you can just call the plant at 815-871-8110.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being with us. Next up, stay with us. We have Kay Trosper from Fitzgerald Equipment Company. We need to give Kay a water. If you'd like to feature yours or another company on Midwest Manufactured Live, contact us at midwestmanufactured.com. All right, well, welcome back here. We are live with Midwest Manufactured Live. Kay, it's a
Yes.
pleasure to have you on.
You sure?
It is. Am I sure?
Yes,
Now, come on, Kay.
I know.
We've spoken before.
Yes, we have.
We have, and I appreciate you. Now, you're with Fitzgerald Equipment Company.
Yes.
Yeah? Tell us who is Fitzgerald Equipment Company?
Fitzgerald Equipment is a family-owned business that's been in business for over 50 years. It's material handling, forklifts, rack, Taylor-Duns, genies, anything material handling.
Anything material handling. What's a genie?
It's like a man lift that you can stand in and it will take you up like a scissors lift.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are those things when you go all the way up the ceiling, they start to sway just a little bit, and you wonder, are you going down with it?
That's only if you weigh too much.
What are you trying to say, Kay?
I'm sorry.
How?
Just kidding.
So talk to me. How long has Fitzgerald been in business in this area?
Well, like I said, over 50 years.
Yeah.
We're on our third generation.
Third generation.
Yes.
And you've been with the company for how long?
About 27 years.
So you've seen these three generations transition through,
Absolutely.
which is nearly unheard of. The percentage of businesses that make it to the third generation is something like 2%.
Yes. You know what? When I came into this position, I worked as a parts and service rep outside, and Eugene Fitzgerald, that started the business, is the one that taught me.
Really? Okay.
He took me, drugged me around from Warner Lambert to little places all over the place. I learned so much from him. I really did. Great man.
That's awesome.
Great man.
And so that transitioned to the second generation.
Yes, actually, I left for 4 years.
Really?
Yes. I thought I had this great opportunity, but it wasn't.
Okay.
Kevin calls me and says, why don't you come back? And I said, 4? And he said, why don't you come back and be the service manager? And I said, Kevin, I've never done that before. And he says, neither have I. You just come back and we'll do it together, he says. So I did.
That's
I did.
awesome.
I came back. And then Kevin still owns the business. His son, actually 2 of the sons work there, Eric and Mike Fitzgerald. Mike is the service or parts department lead, and Eric is the VP of the company. Now you have to understand that when I first came into this business, being so long ago, Eric was in high school and worked at the company. So he washed walls and did whatever.
Yeah.
And
All the things that the son of an owner should be doing.
that's correct.
Yes.
If they're going to learn the business the right way.
Absolutely.
So a funny story I'll tell that he'll probably hate me later is that if I still have a job, he didn't come to work one day. So I got in my car and I drove to his house and said,
Really?
went in and said, get up, you're going to work.
Oh, wow.
And he did.
Yeah.
And, you know, and the thing of it is that now he's my boss.
Yeah. How's that feel?
We always say this, we always say, I love to hate you and hate to love you. It's great. It really is great. All of the Fitzgeralds are
Yeah.
very good to work with, yeah.
That's awesome. So it's kind of it's a family atmosphere.
I stopped smiling because, to be honest with you, it is definitely a family atmosphere. And when you work there, when you start, you may not be connected,
Yeah.
but eventually you are connected. You are. You're part of what makes us who we are, honestly. And, our reputation. We always say our reputation is our foundation. And that comes from, I always say this too, I say that I personally, as a service manager, I'm only as good as Eric
Sure.
or the guy delivering parts or whatever needs to be done. I'm only as good as they are.
And you have a lot of people. I mean, it's a family atmosphere, but this is not a family-sized business.
No, it's not.
This is a large enterprise.
At our location, we have probably 60-ish people here, but we also have a branch in Mackinac, and they probably have just about the same amount of people that we have at our facility.
So that's Northern Illinois, and then kind of a mid.
Yeah, Mackinac.
Yeah, Mackinac.
It's in Mackinac, yes.
Yeah. So which is down near, where would you put that?
Peoria.
Kind of Peoria area.
Mhm. Yeah, down
So
by Peoria.
yeah, it's an enterprise-sized business with a family atmosphere, which is
is.
interesting to be able to pull off.
It is, because we do business with major corporations.
Yeah.
I mean, from Chrysler and the whole Belvedere corridor to Ingersoll, ABC Supply, and Beloit. But to be honest with you, Jason, that person that has one or two forklifts is just as important as that guy that's got 150. It really is, and that's who we are. I don't mean to get all emotional about it.
No, but it's true. I mean, so sometimes those smaller organizations, that one or two forklifts means much more to those people in that moment than it does to the people who are, oh my gosh, they got 150 of them. Well, fine, one or two of them is, you're not going to break me at that moment.
That's correct.
Yeah. So you've managed to look across the span of all the organizations and treat each company as they kind of the meaning that they feel they have.
Absolutely, and that mom and pop organization that just has that one or two trucks.
Yeah.
If he's down,
Oh, yeah, it's a big deal.
and we know the volume of their business. You know what? I'll take a truck over there and let them use it at no charge.
Sure.
We'll figure this out together. That's who we are.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like, and I know a little bit about those relationships that you've explained here. It sounds to me like it is that family relationship and that culture that you have and that reputation that you've built, which enables you to do such great work then in the field for all of your customers. So the scope of which you operate, where do you operate from and to? So we're here in Northern Illinois. How far north do you go?
We go north to Monroe, Janesville,
Okay.
Beloit. We go our territory. We go to Crystal Lake, Algonquin. South, we'll go to Dixon, Sycamore, and then our branch pretty much comes up and meets us there.
Yeah.
And then they cover down south.
Okay, and then how far west do you go?
Oh, Galena.
Okay, to Poopsies.
Poopsies.
Which we're going to get the corporate
Yeah, we'll
appreciation
get-
gift box
yeah.
for you too.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and Monroe, we do a lot of business with Wisconsin cheese.
Okay.
Up there. So
So material handling, how has material handling changed in the 27 years that you've been with the organization?
a lot.
Yeah? How
Yeah,
so?
I mean, well, and I'll take it to even just my technicians.
Yeah.
Let's go back to, we had CBs in our vans.
Oh, you know what? I forgot about CBs. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
And we didn't have cell phones.
Right.
My technician had to call in from the customers to get his next job. It's not that way anymore, of course.
Yeah. Were you
Yeah.
doing the whole dispatching thing, like CB radios?
Yeah, I didn't, but yes.
Car 63?
I had, yeah, yes. Yeah, I always tell the funny story too about somebody's having a lot of fun one day and all the guys can be on the CB at the same time, you know, so they're like on the radio, take this job and shove it, just being funny.
Yeah.
But it really did keep us tight.
Yeah.
Because people would do funny stuff, you know, so
Gotcha.
yes.
So your communication, the ability to communicate, has changed significantly.
Yes.
What else has changed in material handling?
Robotics.
Okay.
I mean,
Like what? Because you're dealing with forklifts, you're dealing with genies and scissor lifts and things like that. What are you seeing in robotics?
well, robotics, for example, we have a customer in Belvedere where we have a, you know what a pallet jack is, I'm
do,
sure. Well,
yep.
there's an electric pallet jack, if you will, and it is programmed where it goes up to, takes product, goes up to Chrysler, drops the product, comes all the way back down, and goes in line and picks up more product.
And just keeps on doing that.
Keeps on doing it with no people on it. So, yeah, it's big time.
Yeah. And so we see videos online of
Yep.
like Amazon distribution factories and or
Yes.
not factories, but Amazon distribution centers with robots following pre-programmed paths. That's the kind of things that you're getting into?
Absolutely. You know, and there were years ago at Greenlee where they had the wire
Okay,
in
yeah.
the ground and they
followed
followed
the
a wire. Yes,
Yeah.
that's gone.
Okay, what does it do now?
It's robotics. It's Wi-Fi.
Okay.
It's programmed to go.
Sensors and things like that?
Sensors, absolutely, to go where it needs to go.
Oh, that's fantastic. So as
yeah.
service manager, how do you operate in this kind of this world? Because you got folks out in the out delivering products and fixing components, and then you got folks who are installing new robotic material handling equipment. What's your world look like?
Controlled chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with the people that we have, I mean, we have a sales staff.
Yeah.
And they're very involved. We have the technicians with their feet on the floor. And talking about the robotics thing, there's also a program, it's called Yale Vision.
Okay.
So they can tell when the guy gets on the forklift. He has to do a safety check.
Oh.
They can tell when it stops to go on break. I mean, we have people that know all about that also. So, yeah, it's big. It is.
Wow.
It's kind of
So
crazy.
technology's made it down into the safety check thing, which is interesting to me. I mean, I've spent some time in some factories before, and the whole thing, like they make sure the forks are pointed down and stuff, and then you inevitably walk past one and they aren't.
Correct.
And everyone feigns ignorance. I'm not
Correct.
sure how this could have happened.
Right.
Everybody's sure they did it.
Yeah, and there's safety lights on them on
Yeah.
the back of the forklift, so you can see it 10 feet behind
Yeah.
you before it's coming and you're going to turn a corner. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's lots of technology out there now.
So that's kind of a big component in reducing risk then, because you're dealing with material. I mean, some of this equipment is big; it'll kill you. You know, if the operator gets it out of control.
Absolutely.
And so now they've got even more safety checks and things that will alert people around.
Yeah.
So it's safer.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yes, they do.
What's the best part about your job?
The people and job satisfaction of knowing that we at our company did everything we could do to possibly make it happen, and we did. We did.
That's really interesting to me because years ago, there was your now boss.
Mm-hmm.
You did everything you could to possibly make it happen, that he would get his butt up and get himself to work.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's kind of like a thread that's kind of pulling forward, and you're the service manager. You're the person that makes sure that this happens.
That's what I'm told. That's what I'm told. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. And, people don't understand today that it's okay to disagree.
Okay, tell me about that.
I say that because people don't agree, and they walk away and they're upset. And people need to understand that it's okay to disagree and come to a resolution together and make it happen. You have to communicate. I tell you the story about Eric again. Not to pick on Eric, but that's.
But he
gonna
can
come.
take it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he can take it. We were in an argument about something, and he told me that my name wasn't on the door, so I took computer paper, this 8-foot computer paper, and put Trosper on it, and went out and taped it over the Fitzgerald side. You know, I mean, it was great. And that's about the communication part that, you know, we made it funny.
Yeah.
And we came to an agreement.
There's got to be a level of trust below all of that then, that he knew how you meant that.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you knew how he would take it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the truth.
So where's Fitzgerald headed then in this world of material handling equipment?
Fitzgerald equipment will continue to grow. It really will. Again, I'll go back to we're only as good as every person in there, and it's good. We do a lot of safety training.
Mm-hmm.
We do a lot of training on material handling. We're doing everything we can do to stay on top of it. The growth. We're going to grow. Right, Eric?
My guess is he's watching this.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know if he is or not, honestly. I don't know if he is or not.
Well, that's
But,
awesome.
Yeah.
It seems to me, from what you're saying, that Fitzgerald has identified not just the niche of material handling, because I think anybody could probably do that, but you've identified the niche of material handling, but you've figured out how to apply a certain level of service into that niche that sets you apart then from other organizations, and you're kind of carrying that forward.
And to your point, it is different with the communication, because email today, I'm sure we all know that email is a part-time job.
It is.
And if you can get the email down and then still come together with a personal relationship with the people that you're dealing with, and they trust you, and that you're going to be there and do everything you can to make it happen, it makes a difference. Myself personally, people call me, I've been there so many years, and a guy will call me, and with the technology on the phones today, I can see that it's Southern Imperial. Mm-hmm. So I'll pick up the phone knowing it's Southern Imperial, and I'll say, hey boss, what's up?
Yeah.
It makes it personal.
Yeah.
So it's the trust thing.
That's awesome.
It is, so.
Well, Kay, thanks for being with us here on the Midwest Manufactured Live broadcast. How do people get in contact with Fitzgerald Equipment?
They can call our main line, which is 815-397-7050. And ask for Eric.
And your website address is fitzequip.com.
Yep, FITZEQUIP.com.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, Kay, this has been a great time with you. I appreciate you being here on the Midwest Manufactured Live broadcast. I did promise at the beginning that we would have our Poopsies Corporate Appreciation Gift Box reveal.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, for sure. What do you want to say?
I want to say that...
Listen up. Kay's got something important.
No, well, it is important.
Yeah.
As far as growing the business and business plans and getting Fitzgerald out there, that's why I'm sitting here with you.
Yeah.
Is to think outside the box.
Yeah.
And come to Thinker to help us grow our business.
We are happy to be part of that. I'll pay you later on that
All
one.
right, yeah.
So this is the Poopsies Corporate Appreciation Gift Box, and I mentioned it before, but they do hands-off shopping, which makes it easy to show people that you care.
Okay.
I don't know what's in it.
I'm almost afraid to open it if you're giving it to me. Okay.
I don't know what's in it, but I'm sure you can take it.
That's okay.
What do we got? Oh. Socks. Is that perfect or
These
what?
aren't just socks.
Is that perfect or what, huh?
Yeah.
What's-
You know
what
what?
do they
This
say?
made it all worth it right
What
here.
do they say?
It says this meeting is
Bullshit.
bullshit. And that's a wrap.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
All right.
A really outstanding organization.
Okay.
And we appreciate you being here.
Okay.
This is the Midwest Manufactured Live broadcast. We tell the stories of great manufacturers, what they're doing to grow in the area, the opportunities that they see, what's next, maybe what they've learned. And I think there's some really important lessons here that we've learned from you about maintaining culture. Business development comes, but you got to maintain that culture. And I think one lesson that we've heard from you is that it is that culture that actually grows the business.
It
internally
is.
and externally.
It is. It's our team.
That's awesome.
It is. All right.
Well, they can get in contact with you directly, I'm sure, if they want to know any more information about how to carry on a legacy like you have. It's 27 years. It's no nonsense.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll see the link there. You can also go to MidwestManufactured.com, where you can read the other stories of great manufacturers. You can also catch replays of Midwest Manufactured live. You can also go to ThinkerVentures.com to see other events and cool information that's happening in your area. Thanks for being with us.